Not Quite Cool is a podcast that contains spoilers, opinions, and general nonsense. Listener discretion is advised.
You look like the guys in Half-Baked.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Harlan from Rocket Man that you're talking about.
Yeah, Harlan. That's exactly. You look like a worse version of him. Like if Harlan is like the celebrity version, you're the Lifetime movie actor that's playing him in the biopic.
Exactly what I am. I am the Lifetime movie version of an actor.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
You said
While you were gone,
Keith. You said Rocket Man before. I was thinking Rocketeer.
Yeah, while you were gone, Rob explained the entire plot of The Rocketeer to me, and I was like, I think that's The Rocketeer is what you're talking about.
No. He was a man with a rocket. See, boy.
There was no tear there, but there was a man in a rocket. So how silly would it be not to be the Rocket Man?
Yeah, no, clearly. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining our silly show, Not Quite Cool. My name is Keith Brooks, and as always, I am pleased to have with me Mr. Chad Dowdy. Chad, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. And then the opposite of pleased, I can't think of what it is, but Rob Pralgo's also here. Rob, how you doing, sir?
Would that be displeased?
Probably.
Nice. I stepped on the scale today for the first time in my life. I eclipsed 200 pounds. I was 201. I started crying, and I got off, and I, like a Roman, I stuck a feather down my throat, and I made myself vomit. It was awesome.
I'm so confused by everything you just said. Because is it the first time you've ever stepped on a scale, or the first time you've ever been over 200 pounds, and stuck a feather down your throat? Is that a nice gentleman?
It's only the first time. It's only the first time I've been over 200 pounds. I've been on a scale with a feather down my throat. I don't want to explain why, but yeah, the 200-pound thing was quite overwhelming.
Well, muscle weighs more than fat, so you're cool.
I am 201 pounds of solid. I've got a 12-pack. Under my shirt.
That's the problem. Put the 12-pack down before you get on the scale.
It's pretty nice, right?
And thank God this is not a show about our personal lives, because it would be just bullshit like that. But instead, what we do here every so often is we review films, television, all the fun stuff that we've seen. And so today we're just going to dive into some of the shit that we've seen and talk about it. We're going to start with the reason for the season. Clearly, that is the first 2 episodes of Disney Plus MCU Hawkeye. So Hawkeye was just released. They did the first 2 episodes, which find Clint Barton and Kate Bishop going on adventures. We're setting up the mantle of the new Hawkeye. Tell me, how did you guys feel about it? Chad, let's start with you. What did you think about the trailer for Hawkeye? I mean, the film.
I was going to say,
shows. Yeah.
The trailer for Hawkeye was fine, but the actual 2 shows were better than the trailer to me.
I agree with that completely.
Yeah. I dug these. They were fun, funny. You know, Kate Bishop, she's a great character. She's a great addition to this. It took me way too long, though, to realize that that guy was Swordsman. I was like,
yeah,
he even got swords in his mustache, for crying out loud.
He's obsessed with swords.
Yeah, everything like about him. You know, like in the comics, I think his name's like Jacques, and in this it's like Jack. It's like, okay.
Well, it can't be the same guy. He doesn't have an accent on it.
No. It's like that mustache is a little bit familiar, though. But yeah, it was like, to me, the funniest thing, I love the LARPing scene where he's just walking around, just taking out those guys, because it's Hawkeye, you know. And of course, the guy is like, you know, let me beat you. But yeah, huge Shane Black vibes, you know, Christmas. It was really like Shane Black without the cussing. That's about what it was. But yeah, I'm a fan so far. I'm ready to see where it goes, especially when, you know, rumors of you hearing what might come down the pipe with it. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Awesome. Rob, what about you? What'd you think?
What great casting. Marvel's done a great job over the years where, you know, there've been a few people they put in roles that have just become iconic. You know, and I think Haley Steinfeld is just, holy crap. You know, not that she hasn't done great work before. Good Lord, I think her first role in True Grit, the remake, she was nominated for an Academy Award at the age of like 2, or whatever the fuck she was in that thing. It was crazy. I don't know if it was
2,
but what a just so comfortable in her skin and just her range of moving between scenes and just dealing again, Vera Farmiga and just. I'll tell you one thing funny though. I don't know if it's funny. You guys will decide it's funny. So, it's spoilers, anyways, if for those of you listening to this. So, we think the father dies early on in the movie, right? And the guy playing the swordsman, I don't know if I was tired. I was watching it. I'm going, he just looked a lot like the dad with the tan and a thick mustache to me. I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here? I really thought it was kind of confusing at first. It was a little odd that it was such a similar look from that father with the mullet to this guy with the hair and the mustache. Am I crazy?
Yes.
Is this thing on? Hello.
Well, you're definitely right. It wasn't funny. Like you said,
no.
it's not funny.
I meant funny, strange. Funny, strange.
It's not that either.
No, it's a waste of time. People, let's have a poll. Anybody who's watched this, let me know if they thought the same.
Not at all. Like they both had hair and they both had eyes, and
they
that
both
was
walked upright. They both spoke English, sort of. It was pretty interesting. They both were talking to Vera Farmiga. What I love about this is that it's a narrative and they speak English. I love the fact. I absolutely love. I'm sorry, I didn't see the show. Was it any good? I kid.
I will say that when Rob called me first to talk about the show, he was like, "Did you hear all the Christmas music? It was so lovely," and that was his big note about it. So
what's Christmas music in a movie during the holidays? It's crazy. What I love the most about this, I love the reluctant hero that Jeremy Renner is playing, the world weary. I just want to go home to my family. And he's the poorest, but he doesn't want to have to show off and drive fast. He just wants to go home and put everything behind him. And moment to moment, knowing full well that he can handle everything, but he just doesn't want to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
The idiots in the bathroom, the Russian gang, just this silliness of a young girl wanting to he's just so over it. And his matter-of-factness is so goddamn funny. From just the moment he's in the bathroom and he happens to look down at the graffiti on the toilet where it says Thanos was right. And there's that moment where he kind of goes, he's just so annoyed with the world. He's just kind of say, yeah, he's got a point. Maybe he just kind of, just for a hair, he agrees with it. And he at the LARPing thing when he's just so over it that he goes through it reluctantly. And there's that one scene where he goes, this is going to happen in one of two ways. You're either going to hand me the suit or I'm really going to punch you in the face. You're really going to fall down and I'm going to take the suit. It just this, and he wasn't mean about it. It was just this, I just want to go home. And I think it's charming and it's funny and it's so goddamn relatable. And I think this show, more than anything I've seen Jeremy Renner do, and I think we've all seen him do a lot of work. I mean, he's been nominated for a couple of Academy Awards. I think this is going to open him up to a much larger audience. I think this is going to make him a lot more popular. And I think he's so much more relatable right now in this series that I think this is going to do wonders for his career. I enjoyed the show immensely. I think it really encapsulates what you expect when you go to watch the current MCU.
Yeah.
It's funny. The storytelling's fun. They cast great actors. It looks good. They spare no expense, especially with all that Christmas music. Oh my God.
How cheap.
All the classics. Yeah, we'll keep talking more about it. I really enjoyed the shit out of it.
I think you hit on something really big. Really, hopefully what this show does is that it puts a bigger spotlight on Academy Award nominated Jeremy Renner. I feel he just doesn't have enough work, definitely. Fuck you talking.
I think we need to run a benefit for him. Yes,
he has like 4 shows on TV right now.
I think he was in 3 of the trailers that we have to talk about today.
Yeah, he's been doing the same part for 10 years.
The vibe, Keith. I think we all need to hire Jeremy Renner. I feel bad that his app went under. I didn't even know there was a Jeremy Renner app for like 2 days ago. I heard sad news about that. It's just a fun show. I mean, it's just really.
Yeah, I agree. I think it leans into that Christmas holiday spirit in a really awesome way. Plus, it's shot here in Atlanta, so it has a lot of Atlanta local talent. So we'd be remiss if we didn't shout out Brian Troxel, Sean Lynch, Adele Dreyhos, Robert Walker Branchard, Ashley Ames Washburn, and then Molly Coffey, who was the assistant to the director for these past couple of episodes. And I agree. I think it's just a lot of fun. I do think one of the biggest things they get from the My Life as a Weapon Matt Fraction run is that Hawkeye's the everyman, where all the other superheroes are these big gods and all of that stuff. This keeps trying to drive home that Clint Barton is somewhere in between, because he's the average person in the fact that he has human flaws and faults, but he's also a celebrity amongst people where he'll be recognized, he gets the free meal. And that's an interesting place to put our hero, our main protagonist. You know what I mean? I don't trust Vera Farmiga, but I want to because she's so fucking perfect.
Well, there's so many mustache twirling, bad guys in this thing so far, where it's almost to the point where you're like, you're so obvious that you can't be the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I almost expect Swordsman to be defending, be on the side of the good guys in a little way. I mean, he's so evil that I'm like, really? Are you going to tie me to him?
Chad and I could both smile at each other because we know, if they go to the story, we know sort of what happens.
Yeah, we know Marvel doesn't always go to the story,
and that's a great thing.
So I mean, I get, I understand that too, and I did a little research. I mean, no, I didn't, not at all. Is it Ultravision in this thing?
Yeah. Hawkeye is not a bird. I found that out during my research.
Are we going to get a song that was Vera All Along? Is that what we're going to get later?
Yes.
That's what I wonder if they are going to do, because they do truncate things and they make them work for the MCU and the established world that we have, even if it's the small things. The tracksuit mafia, that's what they're called in this instead of the tracksuit Draculas and all of that, right? So even that slight change that works. And in the comics, Madame Mask is a big figure. Madame Mask has already appeared in the MCU, but in something that might not be canon anymore, but I think it is. Agent Carter, she was this villain in season 2. I wonder if we're going to incorporate her into this, any of that. But I also like the fact, holiday we sort of think as a genre to itself, but there are different versions of that. And with all the mustache twirling, to me at times, it feels like a Lifetime Hallmark holiday movie where I kind of expect Clint Barton to fall in love with a plaid-wearing man from the country and abandon his city life, like that sort of feel of a Christmas movie. And
what the hell are you talking about? What? Where? What?
That type of holiday movie. You've never seen one of those? Like I'm from.
Rob was in one of those. What are you talking about?
I know, right?
One of those.
Yeah. I didn't see it though. I didn't see it.
So, but that's like the feel and the tone. What? It feels like a lot to me. The first episode had some like faulty editing at a couple places for me, but all in all, fucking Pizza Dog just saves the whole thing, and it's just an amazing. Talk about miracle casting. That's great to me. I love it. I love the show.
One thing that I did like, we haven't touched on it, but I like this in general, especially when it's movies that it's supposed to have ramifications. So when Hawkeye is at the play and he's seeing the actress playing, sorry to say Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, it's almost like PTSD. Like, it's like that's his best friend, and she's just dancing around singing now. It's just, and he just can't take it. I love that. I love
that scene goes even deeper though, because it deals with grief and having to put on the happy face, because right after he sees that, he sees the little girl looking up to him that's cosplaying as her.
Yes.
And he has to turn around completely. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was great writing. Like that whole thing with that. I loved it. And I love the fact too, just to make it funny, to bring it back to funny, is like the Ant-Man is actually in the Battle of New York. They just thrown him in there.
So who wasn't there? That guy. That's great.
Really funny. What are the odds Disney at some point doesn't actually go, people really love that musical from the Hawkeye thing. I think it's time.
They got to.
I thought it's coming.
That's going to wind up at Disneyland and Disney World.
It should be a Disney Plus special, Rogers the Musical. That'd be fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so. I really think that's happening.
especially with, we're going to talk about the trailer that we missed from a couple weeks ago, Lightyear, which is a story within a story within a story. Like, and so Disney as a umbrella company isn't afraid to play that meta game. So seeing this as something that you would have seen as a special within the actual MCU, that's great. That's awesome. Sign me up for that. And also some like great callbacks, some great fun stuff that they're doing in Hawkeye. I love the fact that you had in Kate Bishop's room, the giraffe from WandaVision shows back up to sort of unite it all, which is kind of like a little cool thing.
I think it goes to show too that they did such a good job with leading up to the Avengers and the first Avengers movie. They did such a good job affecting the people and building such a core that they can go back to the well over and over. They can literally put up 2012 and everybody goes, and literally everybody grips and goes, what are we going to see? And the fact that they can show a different perspective and how it's affected everybody moving forward is just awesome. I literally went, I don't even care what they show me now. Just show me a different perspective of what happened. They did such a great job of tying in the original footage with new footage and perspective from her and how it affected. It's awesome. That was so much fun to see that from a distance. Yeah, it was great.
And I think it makes the MCU seem more concrete and tangible, the fact that we keep going to these quote unquote historical events. I shit on Zack Snyder a lot, and I think he likes it, so I should probably stop. But one of the things I will praise about of Batman v Superman is that opening's incredible to see the previous movie, but now we're seeing it from the ground view. We're seeing the destruction of Metropolis or Gotham or wherever the fuck they are, but from Batman's perspective now. Yep. And the MCU, I think, has refined that technique to show character building and development and all that stuff. And I think, MCU is doing a lot of great stuff with characters. And let's move on to their next thing that they're doing with characters. I think we all can agree was a fantastic highlight of a film, a highlight of all of our years, and that's Eternals, directed by Chloe Zhao. This is the umpteenth Marvel movie about a group of eternal beings with special powers sent here by the Celestials. Chad, what did you think about Eternals?
Did you guys not talk about this already? No. Okay, I thought it was just
talked about it like
just me and my glowing review. Okay, go ahead.
No, I thought that this. So I like the movie. I did feel like it was the least MCU movie, out of all of them. I mean, I know they talked about Thanos and the snap and all that, but it really felt there at the end. It was like a Justice League movie almost. It was like they're fighting Superman with. I don't know if it's Amazo or Amazo thrown in or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but
I think Amazo always. But
yeah. So it was almost like a Justice League movie in the MCU. Like it was. I mean, there was a couple funny. It wasn't as funny. Kamal was funny. Some of the stuff he had in his servant, but
his valet was amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
But
it was great.
I mean, this was all to me. This was like Jack Kirby hardcore. I mean, this is bringing a lot of the Jack Kirby stuff, a lot of the Jack Kirby aesthetic to the MCU. I was a little bit worried because I'm not a fan of like Nomadland. I thought it was boring. I understand that Chloe Zhao is an amazing director, so I was a little bit worried that this might be boring. I was not bored. I definitely wasn't bored with this. I mean, I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. I like these characters, but again, it was the least MCU of all of them to me. But I mean, I still had a good time.
I agree. I had a great time as well. But here's something that the audience probably doesn't know is that back in the day, Chad and I committed a lot of crimes. And one of the community service things that we have to endure is listening to Rob Prago's opinions about movies. So take all of the next thing with as much salt as you need. Rob, what did you think about the movie?
You will never be pardoned from this punishment. There will be no reprieve. I think... don't take this wrong. Look, how many MCU movies are there? Right, 26 that have been out.
Yeah, something like that.
I want to say 26. We'll say 26. I have enjoyed all 26 MCU movies. I've enjoyed all of them. I've watched every one of them multiple times, and I will watch the Eternals again. That being said, somebody has to be the 26th on that list, and I found. As far as pure enjoyment, I think The Eternals is my least favorite. Now, that's opposed to being my most favorite. I didn't say I didn't like it. I think I think a lot of people, when you go to see a Marvel and an MCU movie, there's a certain expectation. And again, that's no fault of anybody's. I'm not saying the movie wasn't a quality movie, well made. Of course it was. I expect certain things from a Marvel movie, entertainment wise, emotionally, and I just didn't get what I needed necessarily. Everybody, and it's great. I'm a huge fan of Chloe Zhao. I've enjoyed her work, and I like everybody in it. And I think there were moments I got, like you said, I felt like, again, it was like Justice League in the sense that it was mostly DC, and then there were bits and pieces of humor in it. And I found myself going, just give me more Kumail Nanjiani and his sidekick. I would watch a movie just about him and his sidekick. That being said, it was beautiful to watch. It was just, I felt I wanted more from it. I wasn't emotionally attached to it. I think the best thing for those characters now is hopefully the ones that survived will get their opportunity to show up in other movies. I think having those characters show up in other movies is going to do a lot to endear them to a large portion of the audience that felt the movie was in, that didn't connect to it. And I think ultimately then there'll be a connection. Because I think of all the characters, other than Guardians of the Galaxy, because I didn't know those characters either, but James Gunn, again, his tone, I've been a James Gunn fan for a long time, his sense of humor and his tone and the way he wrote those characters and directed them, there's such an endearing quality to them. I'm looking forward to see more from these characters. The movie itself was a bit draggy to me. And that's all I have to say about it.
I can see where your criticisms come from. I disagree with them wholeheartedly. I guess I don't disagree with them because it's how you feel. So I can't be like, no, Rob, you don't feel that way. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I agree with Chad. I feel it is the most different of the MCU films. I mean, fuck, it starts with a crawl. It has a sex scene. It's not trying to be optimistic. And more importantly, I feel that the rest of the MCU, and I love it, but it is, I'm giving you the easiest version of a story to comprehend. I'm serving you these characters in the most, satiable, universally acceptable ways. I'm not going to challenge your beliefs about who these people are, and I'm going to spoon feed you all of their personality traits. Where I feel Eternals doesn't do that. You either get who these people are from context or you don't, and we just keep moving along. And it has to do that because it has 9,000 main characters. Yeah. But it's does that to me in a very organic, natural, beautiful sci-fi epic way that feels akin to Dune. I think Dune is a better film, but I feel it tries to play in that territory, which is a ballsy thing to do with a superhero movie. And I also love the fact that it has themes that the more you think about it, the richer they become. This idea of colonizers, so that even at the end, the Eternals aren't good guys. They're still just as guilty as the colonizers that we're seeing throughout the film. And that's interesting. The whole movie ends on this darker what will happen next tone. And that in of itself is different than most MCU outings. I loved the valet, was incredible. I get completely why it's Justice League, because that's sort of what Kirby was trying to do. It feels like his version of Eternals was him trying to do what Alan Moore wanted to do with Watchmen. Let me take these principal characters and show you the archetypes. This is where they originally come from, and therefore everything dissents from them. And I think that's why Chloe Zhao had all these DC references in there to say, this is where all of our ideas of heroes are rooted, but the fucking Celestials, that corner of the universe, God, gorgeous. And you had some amazing actors. Angelina Jolie has like 9 lines in the movie, but what a fucking powerful performance she gives. Skarsgård is in it for 2 seconds, but awesome to get him there. And Blade, I mean, we don't even see Blade, but still to hear Blade, that's fucking exciting. I don't really give a shit about One Direction or whatever the guy's name is, but still.
My daughter lost her mind, though, I'll tell you that.
Imagine.
When the dude showed up or whatever. And I was more like, oh my God, that's Thanos' brother. That's awesome. Thanos' brother. And she's like, oh my God, that's the dude. I can't even know. It's Harry Styles.
Yeah. The single most problematic character in all of Marvel comics. Yeah. What a way to like take that blow down a little bit. You know what I mean? What's his power?
I was telling her about him.
He makes people come. That's what he does. Yeah. Like that's it.
I think he messes with your pheromones a little bit and just makes you want to have sex with him.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I dug it. Like, I can't wait to watch it again, especially like stoned or something. It's going to be great. But I love what she did. I see why Feige was so happy and proud of this film, because it is a step into a different type of filmmaking, you know? That's my thing.
And I love the fact that they've earned the right to take risks. I say it, as I was watching it, I was getting Prometheus vibes, and there was something about it that was just, and I wasn't a huge Prometheus fan. There was something just so heavy. It was like eating grape nuts. It was just, it felt like kind of like a slog. The valet was tremendous. I wanted more of that guy. What a great actor. I don't recall seeing him before. I was discussing that with my brother. He was a tremendous. Pip the Troll. What do we know about? I don't know a lot about Pip the Troll. It was interesting. I've heard the name through Chad and through you before. You guys are very excited about that character.
I love that Patton Oswalt now has like 95 different characters in the MCU.
No kidding. I mean, unbelievable.
But Pip the Troll was a member of Infinity Watch. He had one of the Infinity Stones for a long time. And I guess he doesn't need it for that power in the MCU, I suppose. But the implication that in Eternals 2, we're going to go try to tackle some fucking Celestials is pretty intense. And also, yeah. I loved Jon Snow. I've never really watched Game of Thrones, but yeah, I thought he did a great job.
You know, I've said I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones, so I do like they gave it to us. It was the one shot of Jon Snow, you know, the Black Knight, and Richard Madden like shaking hands. Yeah. You know, and it's like those guys reunited because they were boys in Game of Thrones. So it was super cool that they got that in there. Because, you know, again, Kit Harington, he's not in the movie that much or whatever. He's setting up Blade, things like that. So, but yeah.
But I also love that. And I'm a fan. I'm like the only person who's read the Eternals comics, clearly. But I'm a huge fan of the comics that I have read. The Neil Gaiman run is incredible. But the turns that they took, and I think this speaks a lot to the way the MCU is inspired by the comics, but finds ways to make it their own. Some of the stuff that happened in that is a very different variation of what's happened in the comics. Sprite, for example, you know, they've changed the gender of tons of characters, and that's cool. I like it. It's very welcoming. I love the inclusion of Makari. She is the first deaf person in history to be featured on a Happy Meal, which is one of the most exciting things I've ever heard in my life. I also have a great story about. So again, my friend Molly was on Hawkeye, and Alaqua Cox, I think is her name. Alaqua Cox, the actress playing Echo in Hawkeye, is deaf and had never been in anything before. So she was very terrified. Lauren Rudolph, maybe is her name, the lady who plays Makari, came to set to show her, hey, you can still get awesome. Around all this stuff. Yeah, awesome. And like it was like an older sister sort of figure for her, which is fantastic. Anyway, but the turn with Icarus, I thought was beautiful. Did not see that coming, especially with my love of the comic. That's nowhere in there. So what an interesting turn. And then a nice little poetic way, he fulfills his destiny by going off into the sun. Like that's great. That's cool. I like where everything headed. I just think it's a very poetic film that some people don't appreciate as much as they should. But let's move on.
That being said, I was having some stomach issues for the movie too. And I missed Icarus flying off into the sun. I missed like 4 other things. And I spent like 22 minutes in the bathroom.
Yeah, the look on his face when you said Blade was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I did see that. I did hear his voice. I just come back and go, did I miss anything? What's Blade doing here? What? Oi.
Wait, they're superheroes?
They didn't have any Pepto-Bismol at the counter. What?
Rob is like the nicest guy in the world. Even when he like talks bad about something, he always prefaces it like, you'll realize this, people listen to the podcast. I might have been tired or something, you know, it was late. Might have to check it out again. He's never like full force. Like, oh, I had stomach pain. I was on my period when I was watching this movie, so I don't know if I liked it.
Which is unlike me, because I just come out and say, fuck this thing. And I'm going to go ahead and preemptively say, fuck this next movie, though I haven't seen it, but I think you guys did. And that is a follow-up to Zack Snyder's piece of shit, Army of the Dead. That's the Netflix movie, Army of Thieves. Did both of you guys watch it?
I really enjoyed it.
Go ahead, talk about it while you eat my soup.
I really enjoyed it. Look, so Zack Snyder didn't direct this. This was directed by the lead actor of the movie, and I forget his name. What an unbelievably talented behind the camera. It was, the filmmaking was energetic. It was fun. It felt very modern, yet it felt like a throwback. He's such a charming actor. He's so freaking likable that, okay, it's a prequel to Army of the Dead, so there's zombies in the world, but it's not a zombie movie. It's really just a heist movie that's very well cast with some very likable actors. I thought very well written, and I just enjoyed the shit out of it. I liked this movie infinitely more than I liked Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead was fine. This movie was just charming. It was just a lot of fun. I just think this guy as a lead carried it. Great supporting characters around him. Just a fun little, not a mystery necessarily. It's a bank heist. It's a fun bank heist movie, shot very well with a very likable lead character, thrown into a world that he's not expected to be in, and it's sort of a fish out of water story. Very nice. I enjoyed it. I don't know about Chad.
Chad, what about
you? So, Keith, this is what I'm going to say about this movie to you specifically. This has nothing to do with Army of the Dead
at all.
It's not aesthetically the same. There, like Rob said, there's zombies in this world, but they trick you. There's not really. He dreams about them, and he sees it on TV a couple times. There's no interactions with zombies
at all
in this. It is just a heist movie. You could take out the dreams about the zombies, take out the zombies are over in Las Vegas, and it's just a heist movie. That's all it is, with one character from the first movie. The best character from the first movie, frankly.
Great.
And
the tiger's in this? Awesome. That's great.
Yeah. So I do feel like that. I know you hate the other one. This has nothing to do with it. And it's worth checking out because it's like Rob said, it's good. The cast is great. His crew. But at the end of the day, the main character, the guy who directed this, the main guy, Dieter, he is a guy that you root for so much in this movie. You want him to succeed. He is so earnest. He's not a bad guy. I mean, he's like good at safe cracking, but he even doubts himself sometimes. Like, you want him to win so much. I'd say this one is definitely worth checking out, and it does not have, I did like it better than Army of the Dead, but it doesn't have the stink of Army of the Dead at all. It really doesn't.
Well, then I'll check that out. I didn't enjoy Army of the Dead, but I like to watch things, and so anything has to be better than Army of the Dead, except for my soup. My soup was not very good. But let's move on to another film that I did not see, but I think both of you guys did, and that is Red Notice. How did you feel about Netflix's Red Notice, starring Deadpool, Black Adam, and Wonder Woman?
So, it has 3 mega stars in it for a Netflix movie. The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot. That's awesome that they're in this movie. It was predictable, but it was also enjoyable. Like, I had a good time. You know what you're going to get with Ryan Reynolds humor, and he's there with the Ryan Reynolds humor. You know what you're going to get with The Rock being The Rock, and it's fine. I think it's like on pace, whether you believe this stuff, that it's like the most watched Netflix movie of all time, like in the first 28 days or something like that. And I can see that because it's got mega stars in it. This could easily be on the big screen. I could see some places where, you might say that they skimped on the budget a little bit, for it being a Netflix movie, but it doesn't matter because the stars are bigger than the locations. You know what I mean? They're huge. They're megastars. So,
and just to piggyback on that a little bit, I think they skipped a little too much on everything else. Obviously, those 3 people come with a hefty price tag. The movie felt so small in scope to me that every location felt like a set. I felt like they just didn't have the money to match. And I think there's a reason why this was on Netflix, not really on the big screen, because I don't think it would have really held up. I think it would have been disappointing to watch the way this was shot and the scope of it set wise. It was a little look. Ryan Reynolds is great. He was peak Ryan Reynolds. Dwayne Johnson is great. Gal Gadot is fine. I never think I thought she was a great Wonder Woman. She's an okay actress. That being said, she's fine. She's okay. I mean, she's a little stiff sometimes to me. But they were doing the best they could. I thought the script was. I thought the movie was underwhelming. I was a little disappointed. It was a bit of a letdown. It was just. There were funny moments. I laughed. I could watch these guys read the phone book. Unfortunately, there were times when I felt like I was watching them read the phone book, and it was just. It was a little underwhelming. Extraction, as far as a Netflix movie goes, an infinitely better action movie. I mean, production wise and budget wise. Not that it may be apples and oranges. I don't know, but I've seen Netflix produce movies that look like they can hold up on the big screen, and this just wasn't one of them to me. It's fine. If it's on Netflix, you have Netflix, you watch it. Yeah, you can do a worse 2 hours than this. It was a little underwhelming to me.
But I think that's the beauty of the Netflix model is they have so much content, especially right now that they're putting out there. I think 6 of the things we're talking about are Netflix, entries, including this next one that I want to talk about that I think I saw, but I think I'm the only one. It's season 2 of one of the most famous docuseries of all time, and that's Tiger King. So they just released 5 more episodes of Tiger King, which follows the story of Joe Exotic and that bitch Carol Baskins. And I did not know how they could do a season 2, but they definitely have a season 2, and it's very compelling. Most of it's only 5 episodes, but it's more backstory about, you think the Carol Baskins story with her husband, but you don't. Let's talk about what kind of a piece of shit the husband was. And it just seems to be, we're just introducing you to shitty people who live in Florida and Oklahoma, the series. And the end, and so there's some hard parts as an animal lover to get through, definitely. But in the end, you see these tigers get taken to an actual wildlife refuge, and that makes everything worth it.
Good.
From seeing the Jerry Springer ride up till here. I will say that as a documentary, there's not a lot of finality to it because the real story hasn't concluded, and Joe Exotic's still in jail. But you get his relationship with Donald Trump. All sorts of crazy shit happens in the show. So if you got 5 hours to kill, I would definitely check it out.
I did watch the first season, and it was very enjoyable, and I'll probably watch the second one. I just hadn't got around to it. But I did see a clip or something on the internet. I thought this was so funny. One of the guys, Rob, has a bodyguard, and his bodyguard does target practice, shooting at a picture of the guy he's supposed to be guarding. Yeah. That's what he's shooting at. The guy he's supposed to be guarding.
Yeah.
It's only for what is this?
And he's only in the show for a second. They never really explained that. But he's I think the intro to him is it's him talking. He's like, I'm a peaceful man. And then it just shows him blowing holes in things. He's like, but don't fuck with me. I'm like, you're not a peaceful man. I don't think you are. I don't think that's what you are. Anyway, so
I didn't see Tiger King. I saw the first episode, and I was like, all I kept thinking about were the tigers. I'm like, I don't want to see the. Hey, well, I'm gonna do an impression. Ready? Here's my impression of me watching Eternals. Hey, I'll be right back.
Okay, so Rob went to the bathroom, guys.
That joke did not land
at all. Especially he forgets that this is an audio format, exclusively that. So let's move on. Something that I haven't seen, but Chad has, and I'm dying to fucking watch, but I don't know where to watch it. And that's the first 6 episodes of the sci-fi series Chucky. So tell me where you're watching this. Tell me what you think about it so far.
Well, I have YouTube TV, so I just set it to record. So, but I think it's on. It's like a dual simulcast on Sci-Fi and USA. So I don't know if you have either one of those.
No, but I'll figure
but so, we talked about it from the trailer. What I thought was really cool from the idea is that they're bringing back a ton of people from all of the old movies. Yeah. They're all back, the creator's back, everybody's back. So,
I'm back. Everybody's back.
Everybody's back. So I like the idea. I've seen the first 6 episodes. The first 4 episodes, no one is back except Chucky. It's a new story with like young kids, and it's fine. It's just like might as well be another movie. It's completely fine. But episode 5 is when Jennifer Tilly comes back. Brad Dourif's daughter comes back. Andy's back. Andy's sister from 2 is back. I mean, they're all back, and they all have different stories where they're all kind of converging now. And so now it's really getting good. And I'm looking forward to see how they're going to end this. It's 100% would be confusing to people that don't really watch the Chucky stuff. Like maybe the first 4 episodes, but they talk about a lot of stuff that happened in the past. And they even show flashbacks to Brad Dourif when he's younger.
And it's supposed to be
Brad Dourif,
daughter,
Chucky.
Right?
Well, one is when he's like even a kid. And then when he's a little bit older, yes, it's his daughter made up to look like him. But it's still his voice. It's clearly ADR'd his voice, but it's his daughter doing stuff. So there's a lot of cool stuff that's going on with this. Everything is canon. Seed of Chucky, he even talks about he had a kid that was like gender fluid. Like everything
that's awesome.
Is canon in this. So I do like that. I like it. Again, it's really like, I guess I'm going to keep watching this. I'm already in, so I'm going to finish it.
I love the Child's Play series is such an interesting one because the creator has been involved the entire time, and there are very few of those. I think of that and Phantasm maybe. But they just released on Shudder this new series where every episode takes a look at horror icons. And they did one about Child's Play, which is very interesting. And Brad Dourif shows up in it. And it's weird for me to see this man. I've always been obsessed with how talented he is. But now he's old, man. He's old as shit.
He's gray. White hair.
And like his beard looks like the fungus on a strawberry. Like it was totally caught me off guard, but that voice is still as rich as ever. And so, so good.
It's because you're thinking of him as Chucky. You know what I mean? Like I know he's in other things too, but he's in Star Trek, he's in Lord of the Rings, but it's Chucky. And that's like eternally, he looks like Chucky. Yeah. I watched the Behind the Monsters Well on Shudder. And what I thought was cool about the Child's Play when they were talking to the creator, Mancuso, I think is his name. Yeah. He it was an interesting thing. He said when he wrote it, a guy that gave him advice, he goes, when you talk about what Chucky looks like, describe it to a T so that no one else gets that, and you will have the rights so that if this ever starts selling, you will have the rights to what Chucky actually looks like. And I thought that's pretty cool. That's some good advice.
100%. And I also think it's interesting how that advice came back with the name. And so if you're ever wondering why the Chucky series abandoned the name Child's Play, it's because Universal took the rights to the name Child's Play. And they were like, you can use it for Bride of Chucky, but you got to pay us $75 million. And they're like, no, we're good. We'll rename it Bride of Chucky. That's what we're calling it now, which is kind of crazy. But it's crazy.
Kind of like Friday 13th and Jason. That's why it's Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell.
Yep.
Yeah.
So all sorts of crazy stuff out there in the world of entertainment. And let's move on to a big bash of entertainment that I know Chad saw, maybe Rob saw it as well, but who knows what Rob saw and what he was in the bathroom for. That's another Netflix release, a Western this time called The Harder They Fall. So go ahead and talk to me about The Harder They Fall.
Good, Chad, dive in.
Yeah, so this is this director's first feature. I mean, he's done some shorts and music videos, I think. But I thought this was a great first feature for him. I mean, it was excellent. It was very stylistic. I mean, it's very much like a Quentin Tarantino Western. I mean, it had all the music cues. It had the look of a Tarantino Western. And I know Tarantino's copying old aesthetic as well, but this is very modernized. I mean, the cast is incredible. Me and my wife watched this, and I told her like halfway through, I was like, it's so difficult because I'm looking at one person and I say, okay, that's the coolest person in the room. And then it shows somebody else like, oh no, wait, she is. Oh no, wait, he's the coolest person. No, he's the coolest. Everyone is the coolest person. They're all cool. It's a great Western. I dug it.
Awesome. Rob, what would you think?
Such a great job of, you and I have been involved in this for a long time. The three of us have. It's just the more characters there are in a movie, the more difficult of a balancing act that the filmmakers have. And such an unbelievably great job of just juggling just a couple of dozen pins. And I never felt like anybody was gone too long. Which I think is a testament to the script, was very tight. I think there was an inertia in the filmmaking that was always, it never felt like it stopped still. The cast is just loaded with greatness. I mean, magnetic people that you're like, how are there this many cool fucking people? It's literally everybody's, like Chad said, every line, I felt like everybody was just playing a game of one-upsmanship of cool going through this thing, but it wasn't fake. It wasn't forced. It was just these 15, 20 cool people just happen to cross paths. And, one of the coolest is going to come out on top. And I thought the story was so tight that there was some sleight of hand. Things happened that I didn't expect to happen at all. It was as fantastical at times it seemed. It didn't seem unreal. And there were just some really great twists. And it's violent as hell. I mean, it's a violent, unapologetically violent film. But again, being handled by just people at the top of their game right now, I recommend it wholeheartedly. And this director, man.
I can't wait to see it. I saw this awesome interview with Regina King where she was talking about Chadwick Boseman, and she's like, we have an acknowledgement to him in the film. There's a scene where her and Lakeith are walking past the train, and she's like, pay attention to what that train says, and it says the C.A. Boseman. And she's like, there are all sorts of things because the movie was about honoring people that came before you and honoring legacies. So I can't wait to see it. I'm super excited. One thing I did see, I don't know if Rob watched it or if Chad you watched it, it dropped last night sort of unannounced. And that is South Park Post-COVID, which is the first film from the South Park deal that Trey Parker and Matt Stone made. And it is a movie on Paramount Plus that takes place at the end of the COVID quarantine, which I think is like the end of it's 2855 or something year like that. And it's about all the South Park kids grown up. And it takes from the Stephen King's It, and they all have to come back to South Park, and things have changed, and they're solving the murder of Kenny because somebody killed Dr. Kenny McCormick, those bastards. And it has a great way of like playing into the future with like self-driving cars and what does woke comedy look like, where Jimmy is he's the host of Late Night with Jimmy, and he tells amazing jokes, and Cartman has become a rabbi. And it's just amazing. I laughed my ass off the entire time. And I love South Park so much because one of the brilliant things about it is they're mocking indiscriminately. Everybody gets made fun of, but every now and then, if you pay close enough attention, you hear their actual voice coming through, and you'll hear, oh, these are the people they really think are pieces of shit. And so some of this mockery is making fun of people who expect the future to look like this, and some of the mockery is thinking, it probably will look like this, and if you're a South Park fan, this just hit a nerve I didn't know I needed to be hit. It was absolutely wonderful. I can't talk about it enough. And it brought up a lot of nostalgia, but so did this next feature, and that is Ghostbusters Afterlife. A sort of Cinderella story in of itself. We have the son of Ivan Reitman, the director of the first two Ghostbusters, coming back to his son is directing this film, Jason Reitman. Chad, what did you think about Ghostbusters Afterlife?
I agree that this was nostalgia, but I didn't feel that it was. I mean, the music was very nostalgic because it was a lot of music. But to me, this is really how you do a legacy film. I was a big fan of this movie. I just felt like that they're moving forward, but some of the characters are discovering the past. They don't know about the original Ghostbusters, even though like it's a thing. It happened. It's just not a thing anymore because it was so long ago. So they discover it. And then they're moving forward, and they're the new generation of Ghostbusters. And then you've got the cameos, and they're cameoing as themselves. Like I said, I really enjoyed how they did this. I thought the dialogue from the kids was very funny.
Me too.
Very funny. The two young kids, they were hilarious together. The one guy, podcast. Oh my God, he was a standout character to me. They're all really good, but he was awesome.
McKenna Grace to me, like, she fucking carried that movie in the best of ways. Like,
it was her movie for sure.
It was her movie, like, hands down. To me, like, it is the equivalency of The Force Awakens, where I do feel like this movie repeats all of the beats of the original Ghostbusters, beat for beat for beat, but in a way that is more homage. You know, I mean, it's the same storyline. We have the same villain. We have all that stuff. So it is functioning, and you have the counterparts. Paul Rudd does become Rick Moranis. The mom does become Sigourney Weaver. And so you have that sort of 1-for-1 ratio. And at times, the dialogue, like when the sheriff said, "Who you gonna call?" all that stuff, it is a little bit, to go back to South Park, member. It is that sort of thing. But I was totally fucking fine with it because I love Ghostbusters. So I'm here for it all day long. I loved, and it's clearly a son sending a love letter to his dad's work. And I feel both this and the 2016 are acknowledgments of the legacy of Ghostbusters, but different ways. 2016 is, you remember when we had an SNL cast that came and did a comedy about the paranormal? Let's do that again. And that's what the female Ghostbusters was. This one is, you remember how good that first movie was? Let's just say all those lines again. Let's reference the standing books, because no human could stack books like this. That sort of stuff. I loved the cameo. Bill Murray, looking up there, but great to see him in there. I love to see all the Ghostbusters. I was really shocked about, this is a spoiler. Sorry, Rob. Egon, I was really shocked the way they had Egon come back.
I teared up. Legitimately, I teared up.
I think they could have left it off with just the hand, and I still would have cried. But I cried. I cried when the hand came in. That was great. Olivia Wilde. I did not know my Spank Bank needed Olivia Wilde as Gozer, but I've needed that all my fucking life. Nice. And J.K. Simmons and fucking Josh Gad. Awesome. Like, I was even more shocked by those cameos than, because I knew everybody else was going to be in there. But it was fun, especially if you like Ghostbusters. I wonder what the experience would be, and probably not rough, because I've seen Ghostbusters more than any other film I've ever seen in my life, other than watching my own work repeatedly for masturbatory purposes. But I've seen Ghostbusters, the original, more than anything else. So I know that dialogue by fucking heart. So every time they were saying a line, like, after a while, I'm like, okay. I get what you're doing. But if you're not as connected to the piece as maybe I am, then you probably won't even notice that, and I wonder how fresh it feels. But yeah, those kids, phenomenal.
Yeah, it was funny. I watched it with my daughter, and talking about, so she's seen Ghostbusters the original one time. That's it. She likes it, but not knowing all the lines from the old movie. After we were talking about it afterwards, I was like, oh yeah, it's so funny. When they asked, when Gozer said, "Are you a god again?" or whatever, and Meg was like, yeah, I kind of remember that from the first one. Like, that's what she remembered, just that line. "Are you a god?" That's the line she remembered, or whatever. And everybody looks at Ray like, "You better get it right this time, Ray."
Yeah. but I do feel like, I feel like while that's very enjoyable for me as an audience member, it does feel at times like we're retreading the same old ground, but doing it with some new characters that I really like, and also, that post-credit scene, especially the second one, sort of tells you, hey, we could keep going if we so choose.
I hope they do. I want to see another one with these kids. I do.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. What was handled better than you said, Force Awakens or this movie, as far as a rebooting, but kind of hitting the beats similarly?
I think this one.
This one.
Yeah.
I think this one. I'm sorry, Keith. I just wanted to say real fast, the whole thing, where they copied beats and stuff, that's fine. They copied beats. But this one has the reunion of the Ghostbusters. Force Awakens, Han, Luke, and Leia do not get together. They don't. They don't have that reunion.
Yeah. But I think even beyond that, because I'm not a person that necessarily needs that reunion. I didn't even need it with the Ghostbusters, but I think the way they achieved it was fine. But I think even this explains why everything is repeating. We never, in the Star Wars universe, we never understand why the First Order exists. This says that the Gozer thing is cyclical and it keeps happening. And there are, for the most part, I feel that if you're a Ghostbusters fan, you'll feel at times hammered in the head with how much homage is paid. But then there are a couple things that aren't, like Somerville is the name of the city, and they never really strike home that it's supposed to be Sumerville, right? It's based off Sumer, and the guy who founded the city wanted to make a smaller version of Sumer, the ancient place of Gozer, right? And that's like a nice little subtle, and I wish more of the film would have been subtle like that, but I think it works better than Force Awakens. And I'm just going to say it right here. Ghostbusters is cooler than Star Wars. Yeah, I fucking said it. What you going to do now?
Argument here.
Yeah.
Who you going to call?
Yeah, who? Some Jedis? They're long gone in a galaxy far, far away. Let's move on to the next one. I know Chad watched this first episode. I watched the entire 5-episode run, but that is Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe Revelation. Just talking about all the things from the 80s today, folks. Chad, what'd you think about that first episode? And then I'll ruin the rest of the series for you.
Yeah, it was weird because when I started watching it, Prince Adam was there, and I thought He-Man got killed at the end of the first half, and I was like, am I missing an episode here? And I had to pause it and look to make sure this was. So it was actually a little confusing at first because I thought maybe we were flashing back to the past, but then Skeletor looked big. So I mean, it was fine. Like, I just didn't have time to watch it. I'm gonna continue the series, and finish it out. It's only 5 episodes, I think, but yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, I think this is much more epic than the first 5. I finished the last episode before we got on here, and I was fucking cheering because there's some moments that are so fucking metal. They're like, yeah, people were playing D&D while they were writing this.
Well, I think you liked it so much because Fisto was on it, and he just kept talking about fisting people. Like, what? And he just kept on.
Especially from Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Like, when Skeletor first shows up in the sky, Fisto, who's a cheesy character to begin with, is like, man, I can't wait to fist that guy. And I'm like, I'll go write this? Like, what is happening? And it's just, but I feel at the end of it, these 5 surprised me more than the first 5 did. And the first 5 continuously had me caught off guard. But the second 5 kept changing where we were all the time as far as the development of the story. I will say Evelyn is one of my favorite characters. Then she turns into a cold-hearted bitch because she hurts Panthro or whatever Skeletor's cat's name is. And what else can I tell you without just destroying it? Orko might have gone to hell. And then there's a big fucking tie-in to another show at the very end. So yeah, so
is it She-Ra?
But in
when I was watching that first episode, I thought it'd be cool if Hordak shows up or if there's a She-Ra thing. I was thinking that. Yeah, nice.
There's a cool little tie-in from something that was a throwaway in one of the first episodes, and they bring it back and let you know, oh fuck, this is actually Hordak that's doing this. So
awesome.
Yeah, so it's pretty nice.
That's cool.
But speaking of tie-ins and connections to the past, let's talk about one last movie before we go on to Rob's favorite section of the night trailers. And we're talking about Edgar Wright's newest release, Last Night in Soho. Chad, tell me what you thought about this movie.
This is more horror than I thought it was going to be. I know there's I thought it was more going to be just like a thriller with maybe some, hey, she can go into the past in her dreams or whatever with some supernatural, fantastical elements. But it was creepy. The ghosts looked creepy. It was scary at times, and they were like jump scares, but they weren't jump scares like we're just having a jump scare to have a jump scare. They fit. Well, it looked beautiful. The lead actress, she was awesome. There's one shot where when she's first in the past or whatever, and she's just like leaning on the thing watching what's happening, and I was like, that is so good. She's just watching this, like loving every minute, watching this story unfold of the past. And then you got the Game of Thrones alumni. I know you don't watch Game of Thrones, but like the old lady that she rented her apartment to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's from Game of Thrones. She's like a badass in Game of Thrones. She's like the Queen of Flowers
too, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I dug this. I mean, creepy shots.
Super
Edgar Wright, man, he can do just about any type of movie, can he?
I haven't seen Baby Driver yet, but this might be my favorite Edgar Wright movie. because it was so much more than I expected it to be. Because I expected a simple, like, Stir of Echoes type story. And it is that, but then it takes some twists that I did not see coming. And Anya Taylor-Joy is fucking amazing and gorgeous. And and Thomasin McKenzie is amazing in this movie. And fucking General Zod is great in this movie. Like, it's just a wonderful cast. And it's so Argento. Like, it is Argento to the max, especially in the color palette. Some of the shots when she's running from all the ghosts, all the tricks the camera is doing. Oh, it's so great, so creative, so fun. That twist really caught me off guard and really sold the movie in a stronger way for me. And there's one shot of, and I don't know how to say this in a nice way, there's a shot of Anya Taylor-Joy's crotch that really, like, caught me. Do you know what I'm talking about? When you think she's gonna have her big premiere, and then she's doing like this marionette night, and Thomasin McKenzie is there, and Anya Taylor-Joy just bends over in her face, and it's like a weird panty shot that seemed like really graphic out of nowhere. Don't get me wrong. Part of me was like, fuck yeah. And then the other part was like, I was in Thomasin McKenzie's mindset, and I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? No, child, don't do that. And I'm like, wait, did this movie just make me not attracted to women for a couple seconds? It's incredible what you've done to me. And it does a great job of making a villain sympathetic, but also she's still a villain, and all that. So I loved it. I loved being on the edge, watching her, fall into madness and all that stuff.
Well, the only thing that you got wrong though is because you said General Zod was good. I think you meant to say Chancellor Valorum from episode 1.
Yeah.
I think he's probably more famous for that.
Yeah, definitely. What the fuck? But it was great. And I will say, like, I know it's done poorly in the theaters and everything like that. I think it's the curse of Matt Smith. I really think if Matt Smith is in a movie, and I thought he was great in the movie, but I think if he's in a movie, nobody's going to see it except for us. I think that's it. That's the rule. Because I saw Transformers, Terminator, Genesis.
Yep.
Sure you guys did. I'm pretty sure we're the only people. So I'm just saying.
Awful.
Yeah. So, but let's move on to everybody's favorite section of the show, and that's trailers.
Coming soon.
We got a lot to talk about, but we're going to try to go through them kind of quickly. Disney Plus Day happened, so we got a bunch of material off of that one. Now, I want to talk about the Cars spin-off cartoons and all that, but we're not going to. I'll save that for my other podcast. But we are going to talk about, first up, an MCU preview that we got, just a couple glimpses, and that is the series She-Hulk, starring Tatiana Maslany, Mark Ruffalo, Tim Roth, Jamil Jamil, Josh Segarra, Ginger Gonzaga, Renee Elise Goldsberry, Nicholas Cirillo, and Robert Tinsley. This tells the story of Jennifer Walters, who is the cousin of the Incredible Hulk and a lawyer. What do you guys think about the little preview we got of She-Hulk?
We didn't get anything. I mean, I don't even call it a preview. It's not a clip. I mean, that's for the truth. But they didn't give us anything. We didn't see She-Hulk. We saw her leg. We saw Ruffalo's in it. This didn't show me anything. Go ahead, Rob.
It was a little teaser. I thought they showed us more than I even thought they would at this point. Just actually showing her green. They're not going to show face yet because I'm sure a lot of that is still going to be computer generated. What they had me, look, it's a Marvel show in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You got me. The moment where they sort of homage the original Hulk series, the Bill Bixby line, they're dressed in like the 70s, don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. I was like, oh my God, you get it. You fucking get it. I can't wait for this show to come out. The crossover's great. The fact that Ruffalo was in there, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, they're going to try they'll probably try their hand in a different genre, sort of the romantic comedy lawyer, Ally McBeal thing, blah, 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 blah. Give it a shot. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I auditioned for She-Hulk a couple of times. I can't say too much about that.
I got the legs for it, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I think the NDA doesn't allow me to say that what I auditioned for, but I didn't get it, so fuck them. I think it's going to go more Ally McBeal. I think it's going to be more irreverent, and I think we saw glimpses of that in here, and I'm here for it. I think it's going to be awesome. She's great. Ruffalo's great. Tim Roth, I'm here for.
Oh, I forgot he was even in that. That's going to be awesome. Yeah.
And I'm here for this next one too. which I'm going to read you. I just learned something for the first time, but we'll get to it in a second when we start talking about it. But it's the television series of Moon Knight, which tells the story of Mark Spector, former CIA agent whose life is saved by the moon god Khonshu. It stars Oscar Isaac, Ethan Hawke, Gaspard Ulliel, and May Callumway. 6 episodes. And here's the interesting thing. On IMDb, it has the first episode synopsis. I want to read it to you because this is a revelation to me. Dracula takes out a hefty loan with Moon Knight and associates to rebuild his kingdom after the events in Endgame. Shenanigans ensue. So
does it say shenanigans ensue, or did you say that?
It says shenanigans ensue. So Dracula, is Ethan Hawke playing fucking Dracula?
It's weird because you would think that Dracula would be more in Blade.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Moon Knight interacts with Dracula some, but I mean, you're bringing Blade out. You know what I mean? It's not like Blade's forever away.
And you wouldn't have that. I wouldn't think you'd have that synopsis, that drop right there on IMDb right now. That's kind of shocking.
Yeah.
It sounds like it literally sounds like somebody went, go write some crazy shit on IMDb and see if you can freak people out, because it's not what it's going to be about.
Yeah, because the trailer or little thing that we saw seemed, again, it didn't show us much, but it seemed very brutal. Very much so.
So the word shenanigans.
And then they say shenanigans ensue.
Yeah,
that does not go together at all to me.
But I love the look of the trailer that we got. I hope Dracula's in it because that'd be a cool opponent for him. And there is like a hint of supernatural, but that's also the thing with Mark Spector is it supernatural or just in his head, you know? And I hope they play up that angle. But I really liked seeing Oscar Isaac in the suit. What little we did get to see of him. I loved hearing his Mark Ashworth impersonation for a couple seconds.
That voice, that little.
Yeah. What you guys? What did you think about the trailer? What we did see?
It was dark. I mean, you know, I thought we got less from Moon Knight than we got from She-Hulk in a way, as far as what to expect. Obviously, the tone was a lot darker for me. Again, it's Marvel, it's cinematic. I'll watch 2 great actors go toe to toe all day long. You got Oscar Isaac against I just went brain dead. What else is
Dracula?
Dracula.
Yeah. Who's Dracula playing?
Dracula's playing Ethan Hawke. That's what I want.
Ethan Hawke. Dracula played Ethan Hawke.
When I was first in After Sunrise, I thought
I could watch Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke sit across the table and just fucking go toe to toe. If that's who the antagonist is, and this is based on. And again, I've never read a Moon Knight comic. I've heard just Moon Knight fans rave about him, and I've heard good things. Yeah. I've heard good things about Moon Knight. Hey, I heard good things about you. This is going to be awesome.
People always say he's the Marvel answer to Batman. I agree, but you have to throw Deadpool in there too. I mean,
I disagree. I don't think he's. First of all, Batman is like one of the coolest characters of all time, if not the coolest.
Good answer. I like that.
And you're gonna Moon Knight? Come on, they're not in the same realm.
I agree, but he's Batman with the actual mental problems that people now like to think Batman has, right? Like
that's what I mean. He has like a lot of mental problems. He's split personality. That's not Batman. No. He's not as smart as Batman. He's not as rich as Batman.
I agree with that.
Like he's the crazy person in a vigilante suit.
Chad, I just got to say, your come on was so reminiscent of Jeremy Renner pulling off Kate Bishop's mask and going, so disappointed. Just hugely disappointed in what was going on there. Come on. It was awesome. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I don't agree. Listen, Moon Knight's fine. He's not Batman. Get the hell out of here.
Damn.
I mean, if he wasn't stained with the comparison to Batman, are you looking forward to the show?
Yeah, it's like you said, it's a Disney Plus MCU, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. I got some, it was brutal. I got some Daredevil vibes maybe from Netflix.
Yeah,
that kind of,
got some
Yeah. So yeah, let's rock and roll.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm totally down. I'm down to rock and roll with the next one as well. Another MCU installment. This one from Sony, and that is our latest trailer, I think maybe the final trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home, directed by John Watts, starring Zendaya, Tom Holland, Benedict Cumberbatch, Marissa Tomei, Willem Dafoe, Anguirus Rice, Alfred Molina, Jon Favreau, Jacob Batalon, Benedict Wong, J.K. Simmons, Paula Newsome, Jamie Foxx, Harry Holland, Martin Starr, Jorge Lenberg Jr., Tony Revolori, and J.B. Smoove. This is the story of Spider-Man, maybe potentially Spider-Man, though this trailer did not signify that. What did you guys think about this trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home?
It's so overwhelming. There's so I literally, if this were porn and if the fans of this movie were women, this would be bukkake. We're literally sitting there just getting hit in the face with overwhelming, just get hit. Bam, bam. What? Oh, it's overwhelming. If they could tell a coherent story in 2.5 hours or whatever it's going to be, and they can make like it's going to be great no matter what. We're going to see things we wanted to see in a while. I haven't seen in a while. Things are going to happen. It's going to. But if they could keep the thread together, this will be fucking amazing. It'll be amazing. I don't even think. Damn COVID. I don't even think the plague at this point is going to stop MCU fans from going first day, to see this thing in the theater. It is just, holy shit. Are you kidding me? Live action Spider-Verse? Holy guacamole. That's what I'm saying. Chad?
Yeah, Chad, do you have any other tabletop condiments you would like to
Yeah, I'm just ready for this movie now. Like, I don't want to see anything else. I don't want to see any TV spots. I don't want to see anything. I've heard too much. I've seen too much. I just want to get to opening night without hearing one other thing and be surprised if I'm going to be surprised on certain things. But I am super pumped. I feel like it goes without saying. It's probably pretty obvious. This is, the biggest MCU movie that I'm looking forward to since Endgame. Like, I think it's no question. It's going to be massive. I cannot wait to watch this movie. And I think the trailer was just the right amount. I mean, to whet your appetite enough. I loved Dr. Octopus saying, "You're not Peter Parker." Yeah. I love that. After the first trailer where he said, "Hello, Peter," and there was like rumors of like, he's not even talking to Tom Holland. He probably is talking to, Tobey Maguire. But this one they're showing, no, it's that one. And he's saying, "You're not my Peter." I just, and they're all in there, but there's only 5. We briefly talked about this on the phone. There's going to be a 6th because it's the Sinister Six.
Yeah, Feige's not going to let that slip through the cracks. Good Lord.
No.
And for a second, it's not that I don't believe what I see. The things I see, for the majority, I think are going to be in the movie. Marvel has got a nice long history now of putting things in the trailer that are not even in the movie. And I got to tell you, most of Strange's dialogue is so off camera. If you listen to that it sounds completely sewn together. His dialogue sounds completely meshed. I don't believe a fucking thing I'm hearing from Strange. I don't even think
the spectral vision is really going to show up.
I don't think half his dialogue is in there. They make him sound like a crazy person. Unless it's not really Strange, but I think it is Strange. There's a lot of great stuff in there. I think everybody's going to be in it. I just don't. I think some of the scenes that we see. Well, by everybody, I mean everybody we saw. I don't know if Maguire and those guys will be in it. Yeah, they're in it. I'm just not sure the way it was cut, and the dialogue. I mean, off camera, just sounds so clipped and strangely sewn together that I'm not even sure what's going on at this point. I know we're getting that, but I think they are just playing fast and loose with the trailer advertising rules right now.
I mean, I think so too. I think they want to hide specific elements of the story. I don't think Daredevil's going to be in here at all.
You're stupid.
I think there's way too fucking.
You're dummy.
Like,
dummy.
You've gotten me a Sinister Six, potentially Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. I think the Ultimate Warrior's in there. I think Blue's Clues. It's just way too much at this point. But I do like one of the elements of the trailer I really enjoy is the idea that all these villains die by the hands of Spider-Man. And Tom Holland's trying to stop that because thematically he's in this whole situation because someone accused him of murder and he's not a murderer. So Like, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's where he's going above and beyond to prove, no, I'm not this. And no, I'm not. I don't want any part of me to be this. I'm here for it. Like, I think John Watts, I think, is a great fucking director, and just
he really is.
He's awesome. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Just don't think you're so cool because you bring a semblance of intelligence to the conversation. Okay, just don't think you're that cool.
Yeah, no, intelligence assemble. Anyway, let's move on to our next one, which I like the title of a lot more than I like the actual preview. But this next movie, directed by Reed Carolyn and Channing Tatum, stars Channing Tatum. It is called Dog. Briggs, who alongside with his companion Lulu, a Belgian Malinois, haul ass down the Pacific coast in time to catch their best friend and handler's funeral. One of them has a week to live. The other lives like every day is his last. So again, starring Channing Tatum, Koryanka Kilcher, Jane Addams, Kevin Nash, the wrestler, NWO all the way, Keela Zoll, Cameron Hood, Caden Boyd, Nicole LeLibert, Ronnie Jean Blevins is a character named Keith, a really sexy name they picked there. Patricia Isaac, Amanda Booth, Skylar Joy, Naradia Bega, Trent Bruxton, Matthew Trent Honeycutt, Mike Vaughn, Eric Ubers Tondo, and Joy Sunday. This is the film Dog. What did you guys think about the trailer for Dog?
I thought that I guess you never watched wrestling before because you said NWO all the way. No one says that. It's NWO for life.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
NWO all the way. Yeah.
I think when he was in the Wolfpack, it was definitely all the way.
You're going to get so much kickback from the Twitterverse because of that comment.
You only know Kevin Nash as Super Shredder. That's the only thing you know him from. The Turtles. Yeah. NWO all the way. Anyway, this is a Rob Take All My Money Prago film.
Yeah.
That's what this is. Oh my gosh. It's just a cute movie about a guy and his dog. You'll probably laugh. You'll probably cry. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I got to think. That dog is in so much of the movie. I'm thinking, unless that dog is the best trained dog ever, that movie must have been a pain in the ass to make. Holy crap. Oh my. Channing Tatum, I think is so comfortable in his skin. He's really just somebody. It's so easy to watch on camera. Channing Tatum, a cool guy on camera. Story about a dog. I mean, yeah, I'm watching this.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
I have mad
right now.
Yeah, I have mad respect for Channing Tatum. I just saw this thing where he had pitched a Ghostbusters movie himself after the 2016 Ghostbusters film, starring him and Chris Pratt in a dark Batman Begins style Ghostbusters universe. And I'm like, I'd fucking watch that in a heartbeat. That sounds awesome. And so the fact that he co-directed this, that's cool. I like dogs. I probably won't watch it still, but it still sounds like a fun movie. I wish it the best. Yeah, let's move on to the next one because we got a shit ton of trailers. This next film is based on a comic book, and it doesn't look like it when you watch it, but directed by Kat Quoro. It stars Owen Wilson, Jennifer Lopez, Sarah Silverman, Chloe Coleman, John Bradley, Maluma, Jimmy Fallon, Michelle Buteau, Brady Noon, Brittany Stiles, Jacqueline Honoluk, Keith Edwell, Damian Valentino, Natalie Rock, Katrina Cunningham, and Stephen Wallum. This film is called Marry Me. So it tells the story of a music superstar. Kat Valdez and Bastian are getting married before a global audience of fans. But when Kat learns seconds before her vows that Bastian has been unfaithful, she decides to marry Charlie, a stranger in the crowd, instead. What did you guys think about the trailer for Marry Me?
This is just a typical rom-com. Not my whole thing. But it's funny. My wife was watching the trailer with me, and she said, that movie looks so stupid. So
get her on here right now. Her and I can have words.
I just don't know if that's going to bode well for this movie. If that's what she's saying about this.
It felt like a poor man's Notting Hill in a way, where sort of the big star is sort of separated from her guy, and she meets sort of the lowly kind of everyman who's just not looking for. It felt like a hold
the fucking boat. You know that formula, but when I pointed out the Lifetime Hallmark Christmas movie, you're like, "Oi, what is this?"
Don't you dare compare the Lifetime movies to the great Notting Hill, Julia Roberts. Are you kidding me? It felt like that again. Owen Wilson, he's always fun to watch, isn't he? J-Lo,
Wow.
he's great to watch. You know, he's coming off Loki. I'm ready for a little more Mobius. Yeah, give me some. Give me some. Give me some.
Yeah. I'm not going to watch this at all, but
Chucky.
I hear the comic book is like super popular.
How is this a comic book?
I don't know.
I thought you were going to talk about Super Pets.
I mean, that's next, but yeah, but this is a comic. It's based on a web comic, and then became a graphic novel, and I think it's like in the top 100 graphic novels of all time. So
wrong. There's no way.
There's no way.
I might be, but it is a graphic novel. I might be wrong about the popularity of it.
Go home, host. You're drunk.
So you're comparing Marry Me to Watchmen, and you're comparing Moon Knight to Batman. Got it. You've lost all credibility. This episode.
God. Well, I think when the Spectral Vision comes out, you guys are really going to see that I'm right about stuff.
That fucker will laser beam you to death. Spectral Vision.
Clearly, he just cut you right in fucking half. Next up, we have another one based on comic books, but Rob will probably say it's not. This is an animated film from Warner Brothers starring Dwayne Johnson as Crypto, Kevin Hart as Ace, Kate McKinnon, John Krasinski as Superman, Vanessa Payer as PB, Natasha Lyonne as Merton, Diego Luna as Chip, Keanu Reeves, Jamila Jamil, Thomas Middleditch, Ben Schwartz, Dasha Polanco as the Green Lantern. I'm assuming Jessica, whatever her name is, Mark Maron as Lex Luthor. This is DC's League of Superpets. Superman's dog teams up with a flying cat to stop crime while Superman is on vacation. What do you guys think about the trailer for DC's League of Superpets?
It looks kiddie, but I'm going to watch it because it looks funny as well. I like The Rock and Kevin Hart. I like their chemistry.
Yeah.
It was funny though because I didn't realize it was Superpets at first because this was in front of something I watched at the movies. I can't even remember what it was the first time. So I didn't like pull it up. And so it took me, forever. I was like, oh my gosh, that's, when he said it's Crypto, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So it looked totally enjoyable. And I did not know Middleditch and Schwartz were in it because I love their Netflix special. It was awesome.
Great.
So
I like Krasinski as Superman's great. Kate McKinnon, I want to marry me, but she's not going to be interested in that. Rob,
that's true.
What did you think?
Even if she was straight.
Yeah. Thanks, Chad.
What a cast! Good Lord, the trailer looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I like dogs. I like some cartoon movies, and I like Rock and Kevin Hart. And I thought Kevin Hart was very funny in this trailer.
Yeah, me too.
Very funny in this trailer. Yeah, I mean, good Lord, absolutely.
I've never thought of the fact that Crypto would try to act like a normal dog too by wearing glasses. I think is the funniest fucking joke in the whole movie. I also realized this bias that I have. I don't give a fuck if you fuck up any superhero's origin as long as they're not a part of the Batman family, I guess, because I found myself really upset with like, you're doing this to Ace. This is how you're playing out Ace the Bat Hound. And it got me like really bothered, which was weird. But I still think Kevin Hart's hilarious. The Rock's hilarious. I'm going to be here opening night because it's fucking pets and superheroes. That's my life. So I'm excited. I'll probably carry my dogs to the theater to watch it as well.
Oh, that's so
weird. They're gonna destroy the entire theater.
I'm not sitting next to Nelly.
God, they're gonna make those aisles basically a nightmare alley. Which brings me to our next film, directed by Guillermo del Toro, Nightmare Alley, based on the classic novel. An ambitious carny with a talent for manipulating people with a few well-chosen words hooks up with a female psychiatrist who is even more dangerous than he is. Starring Willem Dafoe, Kate Blanchett, Bradley Cooper, Rooney Mara, Paul Anderson, Mary Steenburgen, Toni Collette, Ron Perlman, Tim Blake Nelson, David Strathairn, Holt McCallany, Clifton Collins Jr., Jim Beaver, Richard Jenkins, David Hewlett, Laura Jean Chortesky, Dean Pachar, and Troy James. That's a fucking cast, man. Now, we've covered this film on the podcast before, but they just released the final trailer. What did you guys think about the trailer for Nightmare Alley? Chad, you go ahead and start.
I'm still not sure what this movie's about. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know. Now, it looks cool, and I like Guillermo del Toro, and I'm going to watch it, but what is it? I still don't know.
Yeah. Rob, what about you?
Yeah, it's interesting. I remember watching the first trailer thinking, is this a monster movie? Is he a monster? And then I didn't get it. I watched the second trailer and I'm like, no, but I'm still not sure what is going on here. So they're accusing him of being sort of a self-professed medium, a shyster, a charlatan, a snake oil salesman. It's weird. Guillermo del Toro. I don't think any of us will debate, is a brilliant visionary and filmmaker. I think he's such a brilliant visionary and filmmaker that I think sometimes he goes over the head and maybe intimidates the mass public a little bit. So I think this movie is going to bomb like fuck. I think this movie is going to be great. I think we'll speak highly of it. And I think it's going to fucking bomb because we look at it and we go, what is this? It's too intelligent for me. I don't want to feel stupid going to see it. And I'm just sort of, he does it. He's a true artist. He doesn't aim for the lowest common denominator. And I look at this movie and I go, this is going to be amazing. No one is going to see this until they can get it at home.
Yeah.
And by no one, I mean, it'll just underperform box office wise. Everybody in it's fucking great. I mean, I'm sitting there watching Cate Blanchett go toe to toe with Bradley Cooper. And I'm like, yeah, this is, and look at the visuals and look at the aesthetic. And I'm like, this is stunning. I don't know what this is, but it's clearly a mystery of some sort, possibly a thriller. Maybe it is a sci-fi, maybe it evolves into sci-fi. I don't know. And I think everybody's going to go, it's not penetrating. I'm going to go see something else.
Yeah. I agree. I only have adjacent knowledge of the source material. I know there was a film of it before, but from my understanding, it's very cerebral and very, very dark. This is, from the way people have played it out to me, like a Serbian film for novels, and for a specific crowd. Not that it's as intense graphically, but it is one of those, only certain circles are going to know about this movie or this book. You know what I mean? But since it is Guillermo, I'm here for it. But I think that cerebral nature probably limits what they're able to show in the trailer because it's probably high concept. Yeah. I think this trailer made me think, was Guillermo del Toro watching a lot of Coen Brothers movies? Because this looks like a dark Coen Brothers movie.
Interesting. It did look a lot like their aesthetic. It really did. Yeah.
So I'm here for it. I'm excited. Plus, I'm excited to see Cate Blanchett, Ron Perlman. Seeing Richard Jenkins in the trailer was fantastic. Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm also here for the next couple that we're going to be going over. The first one's a Disney movie that we've covered a little bit, but they released a longer trailer, and that's Turning Red. A 13-year-old girl named Mai Lee turns into a giant red panda whenever she gets too excited. Just a relatable film starring Rosalie Chang, Sandra Oh, James Hong, Sasha Ruiz, Phineas O'Connell, which I think is what's your name's brother, right? Isn't that Billie Eilish's brother?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think so. I don't know. Probably not. Whatever. So this is Turning Red. What do you guys think about the trailer for Turning Red?
It's like Pixar's Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
Not feeling this one. Looks dumb.
Oh, I love that. That's actually a great, one-liner. I didn't think. I mean, I think it looked like a Pixar movie to me. It looked fun. I thought the characters looked clever and interesting. And then it's a Pixar movie. It's like, hey, look, it's either Pixar movie good or Pixar movie Cars. I hope it's Pixar movie good.
I think it's gonna be fantastic. I think werewolf movies rock, and this is werewolf adjacent. It's Teen Wolf.
Pixar, The Good Dinosaur. That's what it'll be.
Which is incredible. Oh my God, it's such a good movie. We're moving on. We're moving on to our next Pixar entry. That's a movie. The trailer came out a little while ago, but we didn't get a chance to watch it. This is directed by Angus MacLane. It's called Lightyear, the story of Buzz Lightyear and his adventures to infinity and beyond, starring Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear. It's the only cast that we have confirmed. But I think this looks amazing, but it's interesting. Well, we'll talk about it once you guys ramble on about your bullshit. Chad, what'd you think about the trailer for Lightyear?
Yeah, I'm down for this one. I could see if this one does well, a Woody in the Wild West, very similar. Just put him in the Wild West, like a real type situation. Nice. I thought it was a great use of Starman. The song, it was great. Yep. It was totally different from Buzz Lightyear that we're used to, seeing. Yeah. Not like in a bad way. So I'm here for this. We'll check it out.
Yeah. What about you, Rob? Are you excited to see Captain America?
It looked like a great space sci-fi movie that I'd see if it was in live action. I wanted it. It looked great. I think they'll miss a great opportunity if someone in this movie isn't voiced by Tom Hanks just quickly passing by and hear his voice and it's reminiscent. I think that'd be kind of cool.
I think you mean Tim Allen, but yes.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, in both of them, I think it should be in it. They look great. I think. Yeah, I know it's weird replacing Tim Allen as the voice, but I think Chris Evans has got a deep register. I think there's something reminiscent of the tone of Tim Allen in Chris Evans.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think anybody's surprised that you would pick Chris Evans at this point over Tim Allen, but it's still a business. But it looked great. The story looked good to me. Again, like I said, I'd watch Chris Evans do this movie in live action. I mean, this looked really good. Yeah.
Well, I think the brilliance of the story, and I don't know if they're going to convey it in the film. I don't even know how they would, unless you have like a detachment into the Toy Story world. But the idea is this movie occurs before any of the Toy Story stories. Yeah. This is the actual film in the Pixar universe that the Buzz Lightyear toy is based off of.
Yep.
So that's why there's the difference in voices. You know, you have a different actor.
No, I know. I'm just saying because people are so attached and aware of the connection that.
No. You were saying wrong stuff, so I had to come and correct you. It's fine.
I do have a feeling though, John Ratzenberger, he'll probably be in it.
Thank you.
He's in all of them. He's got to be.
Yeah, so I'm going to be right.
Yeah. You know, I'm feeling they're going to animate some of the movie. I'm feeling.
You're right, Jack.
Fuck you guys. We're moving on. From one alien encounter to maybe an earthly one, this next film premieres on Amazon Prime, directed by Michael Pierce, written by him and Joe Barton, who I think is related to Hawkeye. Two brothers embark on a journey with their father, who is trying to protect them from an alien threat, or is he? This film is called Encounter. It stars Riz Ahmed, Janita Gavankar, who's an amazing actress. You might know her from The League or Arrow, or a film called Nerd Love, available on YouTube, directed by myself. Rory Cochrane, Octavia Spencer, Keith Sarbajikam, not going to be able to say that. Shane McRae, Brennan Kill Cook, Antonio Jaramillo, Lucian River Chauhoun, Bill Dawes. An awesome looking cast, an awesome looking trailer. What did you guys think about the trailer for Encounter?
I'm a fan of Riz Ahmed, and I'm really a fan of Riz Ahmed in distress.
Yeah,
because he's so good at that. And I like the idea, like, is it really what you think it is, or is it not? Is it something different? You know, like, this is very intriguing. I do feel like, though, that with this trailer, I just wanted one more piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
I just wanted one more thing, because I just felt like, I know they maybe don't want to give away everything, but I'm like, just give me something else with this trailer.
Yeah. What about you, Rob? What do you think?
Yeah, very similar. I mean, I think Riz Ahmed's great, and I love the tone, but I remember thinking, what the fuck is going on here? What is this? Is this a sci-fi? I didn't know what the hell it was. And I wanted to discuss. I didn't want to jump on and kind of get spoiled. I wanted to see if I could figure it out from the trailer. It was very quick. I wanted a little bit more, just so I got a handle on it. So I didn't know, it wasn't confirmed to me that it was an alien type thing until you just said that. Now the word encounter, I'm like, okay, are they imagining that? Are they one of these people who are being abducted, or? Yeah, interesting. But again, it's I like the way it was shot. It had a nice visceral energy about it. So yeah, Riz Ahmed, sci-fi.
Yeah.
Bingo.
I love this trailer. This is probably one of my favorites that we've watched this week, and it reminds me of one of my favorite movies, Bug, starring Michael Shannon and Ashley Judd, which I think is an amazing movie that plays on the idea of perception. Is this real? Is this not? But it also happens at a very interesting time where I think the trial just started of the QAnon follower who killed his children because he thought the cannibals were coming after them or whatever. But it plays into that idea of psychosis and a person believing conspiracies, or maybe being ill, or is it real? You know, we don't know yet. But I love that ambiguity personally. And Janine is a fantastic actress. Riaz is amazing in everything he does. He was one of the best parts of the first Venom movie. So I'm here. Yeah, I'm here for it. I think it's going to be great. Plus, everybody needs to have Amazon Prime anyway, just because fucking it's the world we live in. Let's move on to our next film that was originally shot in 2020, though I think it's just getting released now. And it's called Last Words. The year is 2085, which also I think is when South Park post-COVID takes place. A young man, one of the few survivors of the human community of old, embarks on a long voyage to find others. Directed by Jonathan Nossiter and written by him and Santiago Amigorina, starring amazing cast: Nick Nolte, Khalifa Touré, Charlotte Rampling, Alba Rohrwacher, and Stellan Skarsgård. This looks like a weird, interesting dystopian society film where they're finding film, trying to relearn what life was like before. What do you guys think about the trailer for Last Words?
I didn't
no
see
thanks.
it. Okay. I didn't see it.
Well, you should see it. No thanks, but I did think, oh, Rob loves Nick Nolte. He's going to cream all over this movie.
Love some Nick Nolte.
Oh
Well,
my
there's
gosh.
plenty of Nick Nolte to cream over in this movie.
Yeah, and he's acting his ass off, I feel like. But, you know, he's
So
Nick
Chad
Nolte.
hates good things. But yeah, the movie looks like emotional, looks deep, looks interesting. All things Chad doesn't like, apparently. Let's move on to the next one. I like it. Rob doesn't do the homework. We've covered what this podcast is. This next film.
That's it in a nutshell. That's perfect.
Too much.
This next film, directed by Eva Husson, written by Alice Birch and Graham Swift. It tells the story of a maid living in post-World War I England secretly plans to meet with a man she loves before he leaves to marry another woman. Starring Olivia Colman, Colin Firth, Odessa Young, Josh O'Connor, Emma Darcy, Glinda Jackson, Sophie Dirisu, Carolyn Harker, Patsy Ferran, Simon Shepard, and Emily Wolf. This film is entitled Mothering Sunday. Chad, I'm sure because this looked like it was high quality, you didn't enjoy it. Tell me why.
I'm sure that it's going to be very well acted and very dramatic, but I see no scenario where I'm going to watch this movie.
What about you, Ralph Pierogi? What you think?
I won't see it in the theater, but Olivia Colman, arguably the best working actor on the planet.
Yeah.
Is in it. I will watch her do anything. So I will see this when it's streaming or online.
Okay. I'm excited.
I was just saying that was a great way for him to talk about that, even though he didn't see the trailer.
Yeah.
I saw the trailer. I saw the trailer. I can describe it to you. It starts off, Emily Coleman's crying.
It's in outer space, and
I feel you could say you start off with Olivia Colman crying and still not see the trailer, but just assume.
Yeah. You know, there's a suave British guy trying to pick up on the maid.
That's every movie, especially with a movie called Mothering Sunday. I bet you can imagine
it takes place on Sunday.
There's going to be, I love Olivia Colman. I'm excited for her to be.
Colin Firth has a British accent. I saw it all.
Yeah. I bet Buzz Lightyear is going to be animated in it.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Olivia Colman is going to be.
Olivia Colman is the best.
Yeah, she's going to be in Secret Invasion, and maybe this is like a prequel to that. So I'll watch it just in case.
Oh, I forgot she was. I forgot she was in Secret Invasion. That is ridiculous. Who else is in Secret Invasion too?
Samuel L. Jackson, I think, is the only other cast.
Who's
John Ratzenberger. He's going to be in it.
That Game of Thrones chick.
Yeah. What's her name? Olivia. Another Olivia, right? Or no?
Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah.
Amelia Clark.
Amelia
Clark.
Amelia Clark. Yes.
Amelia. Yep. The next one's about football, so maybe Chad will like that one. Directed by Rick Robenois. It follows star quarterback who ignites a player's strike hours before the biggest game of the year in order to fight for fair compensation, equality, and respect for the student athletes. It's called National Champions, and it stars Alexander Ludwig, Timothy Olyphant. There we go. J.K. Simmons. Kristen Chenoweth. Fuck yes. Tim Blake Nelson, Jeffrey Donovan, Lil Ray Howery, Uzo Aduba, who I absolutely love, David Kirchner, Andrew Batchelor, Stephon James, Russell Wilson, Tony Winters, David Maldonado, Mike Greenberg, Julian Horton, Reg Robb, and French Montana. What'd you guys think about the trailer for National Champions?
Go, Chad, go.
So this was not what I expected. I thought it'd be like, Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
Or, some Varsity Blues, something like that. And this looked really good to me. Like, I dug this trailer a lot. And what it did was it made me wanted to see how it was going to end.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, mission accomplished trailer.
Yeah,
I want to see it because I want to see how it ends. How's this going to play out? It's very interesting.
Yep. Rob, what about you?
Yeah, very timely. And again, I wanted to see the end of it. I would have watched it. I would have watched the movie right then and there.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons, you said something before I meant to chime in. You said you were surprised to see J.K. Simmons do a cameo in one of the movies you watched earlier.
Ghostbusters.
I was like, at this day and age, I'd be surprised not to see J.K. Simmons show up in a movie. He's in every goddamn. He's unbelievable.
Like 5 we talked about so far.
I think he's cloned. I literally think there's like 9.
Well, there's literally a show about him being cloned. So yes, I think it is.
Yeah, this looks again. It's timely. It's a sports movie. It looks good. It looks like it's well made. I'm in. I'll watch it right now.
I dug the trailer a lot. Like when the trailer first started and I saw the name of it, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be one of those American Underdog, whatever the fuck that is. But then it took that turn, and I'm like, oh, well, this is something different. It felt like The Big Short or something like that to me. A Spotlight, something like that sort of feel with a great cast. I love all those actors. And it's not just A-list actors. It's like really hard working actors that I think working actors respect. Jeffrey Donovan doesn't get enough recognition.
Chad knows I love Burn Notice back in the day. I watched that series of shit.
He's got a new Law and Order coming out, but fucking Blair Witch Project 2, Book of Shadows, that's it for me. So good in that show or that movie. God, so good.
That was almost it for him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, love it. But he's also in the new Law and Order reboot, so that's awesome. So I'm excited about it. I don't know if I'm excited about this one, but it looks masterfully crafted. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to watch it. It's a film by Matthew Heineman. It's a documentary that actually released the day of recording this, Friday, November after Thanksgiving, whatever. A documentary following nurses, doctors, and administrators as they respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. What do you guys think about the trailer for the documentary, The First Wave?
I do not want to watch this movie. I didn't even want to watch this trailer. Oh my gosh. My wife works at the hospital. So like I even hear stuff through her. So no thanks.
What about you, Rob?
Yeah, it's just so goddamn frustrating, I mean, more so for Chad, who lives with somebody who's, close to the front lines of this thing, and to have to on a daily basis see the more, I don't want to get political.
No, they're morons. I'll get political. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
To see people go, let us breathe. There are surgeons who stand over patients with masks over their face for 12 to 16 hours at a clip. And you know what? Not suffocating. You know what they're doing? Their best goddamn work, saving people's lives. It's just astounding to me that the world feels like a fucking bad horror movie right now, and this just spotlight. I don't even want to like read the reviews. I don't want to read the comments on the movie because it's gonna be 65% dipshittery of
it'll be review bombed and stuff like that.
Oh God Almighty!
I think even that thing that you brought up brings up such an interesting aspect that I think the trailer touches on, is that "Let Us Breathe" becomes a slogan and a banner for two different, couldn't be more divergent groups of people.
Sure.
Because in the midst of this pandemic, we're still trying to reverse the systemic racism that's been, crippling this country ever since its inception. So the BLM riots and the BLM protests were taking place while people are dying. And you have these protesters that are being mindful of others. Hey, let's not get you sick. And then you have these idiots that are taking the life-saving protocols and throwing them aside, causing so much more tragedy. I think like this is going to be a painful movie to watch, and I will watch it one day. But I'm so grateful it exists because we need to document these trying times. And the sacrifices that people like Chad's wife are making by being married to Chad. But in addition to that, their hard work out in the world. And so
got our hands full.
It's such
every night.
Yeah. Oh God. So it's such a trying time and such a difficult, these past 2 years are history. Every year, technically, I guess, is history. But very few like these past 2 years, like this is September 11th for the next generation. So I think it's important that we get as many perspectives on it as we can. And this looks like a really masterfully made one. So I'm here for it eventually, but it's still a little fresh of a wound. And this next movie has a lot of fresh wounds in it. It's called The Outfit. The film follows Leonard, an English tailor who used to craft suits on London's world-famous Savile Row. But after a personal tragedy, he's ended up in Chicago, operating a small tailor shop in a rough part of town where he makes beautiful clothes for the only people around who can afford them. A family of vicious gangsters. Directed by Graham Moore, written by Jonathan McLean and Graham Moore. The film stars Mark Rylance, Zoe Deutsch, Dylan O'Brien, Johnny Flynn, Nikki Amuka Baird, Simon Russell Beale, and Alan Medesdea. I don't know how to say that name. What do you guys think about the trailer for The Outfit?
I like Mark Rylance,
Yeah.
and I like Zoe Deutsch, and I raised her name, and I like Dylan O'Brien. I like all three of those. I'm fans. I'm like 50-50 on this. This movie looks tense, though. It looks like it could be pretty good.
Yeah.
It looks like a pretty cool mystery. Not for a second. I was watching it and I started getting vibes of obviously a different tone, but it's almost like this could have been a prequel to The Kingsman as well. In a way, but with obviously a completely different tone. Mark Rylance is just spectacular. He is a king of the understated and the subtle, and it looked like a good little mystery. I felt like he was sort of, between a rock and a hard place, and I was like, I want to see how he gets out of this goddamn thing. He is just getting it from all sides, and obviously there's more than meets the eye with his characters. It was just it was interesting. I liked it.
Yeah, to me, I was sort of taken aback by how much it looks like a play. Like, it looks like it would be a perfect one location play. And Rylance is good enough to bring me into anything. I think he's amazing in everything he does. So I'm here for it. I'm excited about that. This next one is got a lot of Oscar buzz for it already. It is a foreign film, so I'm going to butcher the names. I might not even try to say any of the names. We'll see. It's called Drive My Car, directed by Ryusuke Hamaguchi. In the film, Nishijima Hidetoshi is a stage actor and director happily married to his playwright wife. Then one day she disappears. What do you guys think about the trailer for Drive My Car?
I was going to say, I know Chad today hates this movie, but I found it straight emotionally. It pulled at my heartstrings. I think that it came really down to the subtlety and this. And the silence and the hesitancy of the lead character. He just seemed a fucking mess and just someone so haunted. I love the relationship, between him and her. And again, this is one of these things I wanted to see where it goes. Do they cross the line? Is it just two people who need to be there for each other? It's beautifully shot. Again, there's 8 billion things coming out.
Yeah.
Where does it fall in line of watching it? I don't know, but I certainly was affected by the by the storytelling in this trailer and just the relationship between him and the driver. That's for sure.
Yeah, same here. Chad, what'd you think?
It's funny you said subtlety because it was so subtle. I fell asleep during the trailer because I woke up and like I was playing a YouTube video of like yoga or something. Like I don't know how many things played after that trailer. Oh my goodness.
You got to be pretty subtle to be woken up by a yoga video.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure people will like this movie. I'm not going to be one of them.
I'm sure people like this movie. Yeah, no, definitely. I'm here for it. I'm excited. I've read Norwegian Wood, which is one of the books that the writer of this film wrote. And it was really great. And I wonder if the Drive My Car is another Beatle reference, which I still need to see the new Beatles show. But yeah, I'm here for it. I think it's going to be an Academy Award contender. As the next one probably won't be, but I wish it was because it looks dope as shit. We got to see a prologue, a 6-minute prologue for the newest film, Jurassic World Dominion, written and directed by Colin Trevorrow. It stars Daniela Pineda, Bryce Dallas Howard, Chris Pratt, Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, DeWanda Wise, Ditchin Lachman, Laura Dern, B.D. Wong, Justice Smith, Christopher Plha, Omar Sy, Scott Hayes, Campbell Scott, Isabel Sermon, Mamadou Ati, Glynis Davies, and Koki Falco. I don't understand any of those names, and Sam Neill, and dinosaurs. What do you guys think about the prologue for Jurassic World Dominion?
So I'm a little bit confused about this. It definitely was a clip. They called it a prologue. Does that mean it's not going to be in the movie? Or did I just watch the first 5 minutes of the movie? And if that's the case, I'm not happy about it.
They call it the prologue trailer. So I think this is a truncated version of the beginning of the film itself.
Keith, you
yeah. I mean,
They had trailer in it, and there were dinosaurs. I think
you can call it prologue or whatever you want to call it. It seemed like a damn 5-minute clip to me.
So Chad's a big fan of it. Rob, what about you?
Look, they showed us basically what they've never gotten wrong, which is the fucking dinosaurs. Yeah. They've always done the dinosaurs great. The dinosaurs always look great.
Never the problem. Dinosaurs aren't the
They
problem.
invented how to make dinosaurs on screen. The dinosaurs look amazing. That hasn't been the problem with the last 4 out of 6 movies or however many there are. It's been the narrative and the people and the first movie was good. Yeah, Jurassic Park was good.
I would say,
Jurassic Park to me is what Transformers are to everybody else. The first one's good. The rest of them are kind of like, oh my God. It's like, I love the dinosaurs. They're amazing. Still, if you can just stop the people from interacting and talking, fucking it up, you'd have something. They look great.
If I got a movie for you, The Land.
Right, you talk about a sniper. You talk about a sniper that couldn't hit the broadside of a fucking barn.
You miss a fucking dinosaur.
What was he, Stormtrooper? For the Christ Almighty, what is going on there? Anyway, that was fun to talk about. Good.
I think, to me, Jurassic Park is one of the greatest movies of all time. I think Jurassic World is a really fun movie. I really like.
I like those two. Those are the two that I like.
Yeah, it's fine.
Everybody else is meh. The last Jurassic World had some really great moments in it. That moment with the dinosaurs on the dock, like, man, that's
heartbreaking. That actually hurt. Yeah, that was painful.
And part 3 has some heartbreaking moments, which like happens from the beginning of the movie to the end. But I think for the most part, the thing in my mind that makes Jurassic Park so amazing is the storytelling that Steven Spielberg pulled off, the level of craft he has when he's doing this. And in this movie, you don't have that same sense of adventure, even in this prologue. Like, I liked all the dinosaur stuff. That was cool. That was awesome. But even the reveal of the dinosaur or the reveal of the helicopter felt pedestrian comparatively to what Steven Spielberg would have done. Because Steven Spielberg would have introduced us to a claw first. And then the helicopter, we would have just saw a clip of the blades. And then it would have whipped around behind a tree. And the whole movie would have been twinged with excitement, especially if this is the fucking beginning of the movie, And that sense of adventure, I think Spielberg probably does better than anybody else. And if you're going to play in his sandbox, you got to bring your A game. And Trevorrow, I like, but is mostly known for more small, subtle pieces, at least more cerebral pieces. And then like Book of Henry, whatever the fuck that was. So I'm going to watch it clearly because it's dinosaurs. But, I'm not.
We have to watch it.
We have to watch it.
Yeah.
And
It's
speaking
a very
of,
small, select group of filmmakers who are in that rarefied air that can really follow a master like that. It's tough. I'm sitting here as you're talking, trying to think, if you had your pick of if it wasn't Spielberg, who do you get to do that? Denis Villeneuve? I mean, I'm trying to think if you had
the
your
guy
pick.
who did Red Notice. Is that who you'd pick?
Yeah,
Rob?
please. Because I wanted it as small as possible. I wanted to look like Coleco train set. Is what I want.
I think, I'll be honest with you. I think J.J. Abrams doesn't have the story chops, but he has the visual chops.
He does have the visual.
I think Rian Johnson has both. Because I think in Last Jedi, whatever you want to say about it, there's some great cinematic moments in that fucking movie and some amazing reveals and amazing shots. And that, to me, more than any of his other movies, like that movie is like him going into that Spielberg territory. But, like we said, I'll have to watch it, and I'll probably have to watch this next one too, but I'm not excited about it. But Rob will be, because it's got Christmas music. Directed by Michael Dowse.
8-bit.
In 1980, Chicago, a 10-year-old sets out on a quest to get the Christmas gift of his generation, the latest and greatest video game system. Only on HBO Max will be 8-Bit Christmas, starring Winslow Fegley, Neil Patrick Harris, Steve Zahn, I like Steve Zahn, June Diane Raphael, Baluna Resnick, Sophia Reed Gansert, Che Tafari, Santino Bernard, Max Malice, and that's all the names after that are hard. David Cross is in it. I can say that one. Cool. Chad, what'd you think about 8-Bit Christmas?
This is like my Christmas. I wanted a Nintendo for Christmas. I had a rich friend. He wasn't really rich, but he was the only friend that had a pool. We went over to his house and he had a Nintendo, and that's all we wanted to do was play his Nintendo.
Yeah.
And so we all wanted a Nintendo. So I think that this, I'm not saying it like high praise like this, but this could be like my generation's A Christmas Story.
It definitely looks like it's trying to be that. Yeah.
It's definitely trying to be, for sure. But I relate to it so much that I'm surprised I haven't watched this already. I think it came out on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to check it out. I think it just came out on HBO Max. So
shit.
I'm definitely checking this out. That kid is the kid from Night Books. I thought he was like super cute in Night Books.
Cool.
So I like the kid.
Cool. Rob, what do you think about 8-Bit Christmas?
Very nostalgic. I've heard they captured young kids real well and their camaraderie and their desperation. Kids keeping up with the Joneses always cracks me up. It looked great. It had me at roller skating. The discomfort of skating next to a girl. I mean, it just felt right. The tone of it felt right. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That's awesome. I think it looks like shit. Here's why I think it looks like shit. I think I don't like happy things. A Christmas Story is good, but I only saw it like last year for the first time.
I wasn't a big Christmas Story fan.
Yeah, I like Scrooged. It's probably my favorite Christmas movie of all time, but it's cynical. I like cynical things, and I think it's also
Die Hard.
Yeah, Die Hard, Batman Returns, Gremlins. I like that sort of era. Santa's Sleigh, starring Bill Goldberg. But I did
Bill Goldberg for life.
That's a thing. Santa's Sleigh with Bill Goldberg.
It's great. It's a great movie. But I didn't grow up in a very Christmassy or very holiday driven home. So I don't tap into that same nostalgia that a lot of people do. So when I hear that Christmas Story ripoff, I'm like, fuck that schmaltz. I don't have time for that. And I move on with my life. I'll probably watch it because the Nintendo, the NES is, to me, the Super Nintendo is better, but that's more of my generation thing. You know what I mean? I do remember having a janky NES, and I had to put a cup on it every time I put a game in to keep the game in.
Oh, you always had to do stuff, for sure.
Always. But it was still fucking amazing. Don't get me wrong. The NES is shit. And so for that nostalgia alone, I'll probably go for it. And I like David Cross. He's a Georgia local, so representing all that stuff. So, I mean, I'll watch it, but fuck. But I'll probably watch this next one for more nefarious purposes. It's a television series on Hulu, created by Robert Siegel. That's right, the Robert Siegel, Triumph, the Insult Comic Dogs, Robert Siegel. It follows the story of the relationship between Pam and Tommy, going back to the whirlwind romance that started with them marrying after only knowing each other for 96 hours in 1995. The show is entitled Pam and Tommy. It stars Lily James as Pamela Anderson, Sebastian Stan as Tommy Lee, Taylor Schilling, Nick Offerman, Fred Heschinger, Paul Ben Victor, Paul Sinecor, Mosen Marno, Larry Brown, Spencer Grenice, Paul Guzman, Adam Dunnels, Christopher Matthew Cook, Iker Anaya, Chris Mann, and Seth Rogen. What'd you guys think about the trailer for Pam and Tommy?
No, I really thought I would like this more, but it made me feel sorry for them, and it made me feel sorry for her, and it made me feel skeevy for like watching it back in the day.
Yeah, same here. And granted, I know Rob was like 94 when it came out, but I was like fucking 8, and I was like, but then I also, similar to that moment with Anya Taylor Johnson's crotch, I felt very strange because Anya Taylor-Joy, yeah, thank you. Similar to that moment with her.
Talking about Johnson is all.
Yes. Well, I'm going to be talking about my Johnson a little bit more here because fucking Lily James looks perfect as Pamela Anderson.
Great casting.
Great casting and ridiculous hot. And I was instantly super attracted to her. But I'm sorry. Let's talk about, we feel bad for it. But go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, I'm probably not going to watch it because I don't want to like feel bad about myself about it. So go ahead, Rob.
And I like the pedigree of it with the makers of I, Tonya, which I thought was a very creative, well-told movie, taking a real life circumstance and sort of putting a fun little turning into a dark comedy, fun little bite. I thought it was well made. And again, Lily James is a phenomenal actress. Big fan of Sebastian Stan, Seth Rogen. I mean, and what's his name? Nick
Offerman.
Nick Offerman. I watched those two numbnuts bounce around together, just getting into trouble. It looked fun, and she looks ridiculous.
But I think it is, the smart thing is coming from the director of I, Tonya, or the creator of I, Tonya, where it's like, you think you know the story, but do you really? Yes. And I think more now than maybe any other time in history, we need those moments. We need, like even now we still have that bath salt story that keeps going, and people think there was somebody who was high on bath salts that ate somebody's face. There was a dude that ate somebody's face who wasn't high at all. He was completely sober, but that story of it being bath salts still permeates the modern pop culture. And I wonder what elements of the Pam and Tommy story are akin to that, because the same way I, Tonya, broke it down for us, it was interesting.
Really humanized Tanya Harding, and she was such a villain. Not that Pam and Tommy were villains, but the journey to humanize them, I think, would be easier, in a way, almost in a way. But I'm curious to see, what Sebastian Stan she brings to this thing, and really kind of turns people's opinions of it.
And I think there is inherent in this story is this idea of fighting the Protestant nature that is the underbelly of American culture, right? Where Pam and Tommy both, her more than Tommy, and it's definitely spelled out in this trailer, were sort of attacked for being lewd, for being crude, when fucking everybody has sex. Well, except Rob. Everybody gets to have sex, and so,
I will, though.
One day.
I will.
But
one day,
and
being criminalized or made into a villain because of they were married. Fuck, it's what they do in their own spare, their own private time. How dare we think there's something wrong with them? So I'm interested to see what it is, and plus she looks hot, so I'll watch it. That's what I just destroyed everything I said by complimenting her, but whatever. The next one, we have a one more trailer for a television series, and then we're out this motherfucker. This next one is another callback. A TV series called Bel Air, a dramatic retelling of the story of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, produced by Will Smith, starring Adrian Holmes, Cameron Wong, Cassandra Freeman, Ollie Sholatin, Rita and Angel Taylor, Christian Soto, Jimmy Akingbola, Akira Abar, Coco Jones, Jordan L. Jones, Simon Joy Jones, Ahmad Dugas, Troy Hussman, Carl Gillard, Nico Neal, Mateo Pollock, Jabari Banks, and Cheryl Francis Harrington. What do you guys think about the trailer for Bel Air?
Might I say, just out of all full transparency here, I never watched the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I was aware of it. It fell at a time when it just fell through the gaps. That being said, when I watched this trailer, until you just said that, I had no idea this was a dramatic retelling of that show.
Oh, really?
No idea. Until you just said that, I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Okay. Very cool. Yeah. Okay. It makes it, not that it wasn't a good trailer. It was weird. I watched it. I was thinking, this looks like a really well-made commercial. This looks like the way it was shot, it looks like a really interesting music video / commercial is what it felt like to me. I'm going, oh, it's cool. It's interesting the way they chose to shoot this. And again, it looked grounded and real. It was gritty. It was very, very timely in a way. But when you said that, I was like, oh my God, my whole opinion of it is just all whacked out right now. It's so strange.
Plus, Will Smith was doing the narration in the beginning, singing the song.
Did not even realize that. Yeah, did not even realize it.
Chad, what'd you think about the trailer for Bel Air?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was. He was doing the remix of the song.
Yeah.
So, I did watch the show.
Me too.
I feel like I just need to see more. We'll see. Like, I was a fan of the show. Like we said, it's dramatic retelling. Is it going to work? We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the reason this got greenlit too is there was a fan film that came out that was doing this dramatic version, and I think those people are the ones that got the green light to do this. So Will Smith's attached to it. I love Will Smith. I think most people of my age group fucking adore Will Smith because he was the biggest star in the world at that time, right? So yeah, I'll watch it, but this wasn't a lot for me to go off of. But whatever, it was fun. But yeah, that's all the trailers we have. We do have one bit of depressing news to talk about. Today, the entertainment world lost an icon. Stephen Sondheim passed away the day of us recording this. He was 9,000 years old, but also one of the greatest lyricists and names behind music theater ever, from West Side Story to Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, to Into the Woods. Just left a legacy that is it can never be touched. So rest in peace, Stephen Sondheim. Yeah, and that's all I got. You guys got any? Rob, you got anything else to complain about? Chad, you want to shit on anybody else's dreams or anything?
My back hurts a little bit.
Okay.
Sorry. The soup was cold, and there was no mustard for my Reuben. Other than that,
No, Rob just needs to go watch episode 528 of Elementary, I guess.
I only hope there's 528 more. Greatest show ever. Johnny Lee Miller should be on the Mount Rushmore of actors. Daniel Day-Lewis, Marlon Brando, Meryl Streep, Johnny Lee Miller.
Is that your Jerry Stiller? Is that what that is?
I don't know what that is. It's my COVID golf.
It's like a diet Harvey Feinstein. That's what that is. It's like,
Oh boy.
But yeah, but that's us. So Chad, tell the people out there where they can find you.
I'm on Twitter, Chad129X, and the podcast is NQC Podcast.
Awesome. Rob, tell the people where they can find you.
I'm in my office right now. If you want to look around, this is where I am. This is, you can see. Oh, you can, you guys. This is not on video. Never mind.
Yeah, don't show us your crotch again.
Okay, here's my crotch. I have a Twitter handle. I don't know what the hell it is. It's probably at Robert Pralga. I got this thing called Facebook. You can catch me on Facebook, and then I put up like 3 or 4 pictures on Instagram at Robert Pralga.
That's great. That's awesome. And if you guys want to find me, don't. So thanks for tuning in to Not Quite Cool. Next time we'll be back with another episode of Hawkeye. I'll probably gonna go see Encanto tomorrow. Chad's probably gonna watch 8-Bit Christmas as soon as we leave. I think Rob's gonna watch 8-Bit Hanukkah, which is gonna be a little different. They're not gonna get the full NES, but they might get 1 controller, maybe 1 card.
And then a pack of socks. We'll get some socks, and then we'll get 1 controller.
Yeah.
So next year we'll get the 2nd controller and matching underwear.
Yeah, that'll be great.
You get batteries for the controller.
The batteries. That's right. No batteries included.
I was gonna say NES didn't have batteries for a controller unless you had they did have like the wireless, the one shitty wireless thing that they tried to do that didn't work well.
The last video game I played was Atari. So, and not like the reboot. It was literally Atari Baseball was the last thing I played, and the characters looked like Space Invaders. So
cool.
It's not good.
Yep. So Rob is old. Thanks for tuning into this podcast. And we will see you guys later.
Peace.
You guys are great. Thanks for turning.
Not Quite Cool is a podcast recorded in Atlanta, Georgia, in conjunction with Actors Teaching Actors and Bean Dip Productions.